Kinuha ko yung saying doon.
I have read already.
It is located on East Mediterranean. It's located right in between the Empire of Egypt, okay, towards southeast, and the Empire of Mesopotamia towards northeast, towards southwest, sorry, and the Empire of Mesopotamia towards northeast. Mesopotamia means the land between the two rivers, and it is today's Iraq, okay, and parts of today's Syria. Now, it was located between these two empires, and these two empires fought for taking control over the whole region. So, in times of war, this piece of land became important for transferring the troops from Mesopotamia down towards south, or from Egypt up towards north, okay? That's during wartime. During peaceful eras, this region, this Holy Land, became so important for trading ways, okay? Now, during peaceful times and during war times, the two empires used the routes in the Holy Land, and I can give you two main examples of routes. One is called the Way of the Sea, or Via Maris in Latin. Via Maris means the way of the sea, and it goes all the way from Egypt through the shoreline up to the area of today's city of Khedera.
Monks settled throughout the Judean desert in the early Christian era. In the 4th century, Greek Orthodox monks built this monastery of Karantan into the mountain's sheer cliff face overlooking the lush oasis of Jericho. Following his ordeal in the desert, Jesus returned to Nazareth with a message even stronger than that of John the Baptist.
Jesus began preaching to the people of his own region around 29 AD. Standing in a synagogue here in his hometown of Nazareth, he spoke the words of the Old Testament prophet Isaiah. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind. Then he added to the stunned congregation before him, "Today is this scripture fulfilled in your ears." But the congregation, made up of townspeople who had watched the boy Jesus grow to manhood, were enraged by the words he preached that day. Forming an angry mob, they drove him to this hill, called the Mount of the Leap, at the end of the town, fully intending to throw him from the precipice. But Jesus simply turned to face them and passed peacefully through their midst.
Jesus led this. The Gospel of John continues.
Do you understand what I have done for you? asked, "If I, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet. I have set you an example."
For Jesus, the Passover celebration that night was not a joyous occasion. He knew the end was drawing near. He knew that he could not long avoid the wrath of the local authorities, to whom he was a troublemaker and a blasphemer, nor that of the Romans, to whom he was a revolutionary. He knew, and he said, that one of his disciples was about to betray him, and that even Simon Peter, whose feet he had just washed, would deny him before the night was out. In deepening despair, they finished the meal and quit the room on Mount Zion for the Mount of Olives.
At the foot of the Mount of Olives is an ancient garden called Gethsemane, meaning the olive press. Many gnarled and knotted trees still stand here, some of them close to 2,000 years old. When they reached Gethsemane, Jesus told his disciples to wait while he went on alone. Throwing himself to the ground, he prayed that this hour might pass him by. "Abba, Father," he said, "all things are possible to be. Take this cup away from me. Yet not what I will, but what thou wilt." This event is commemorated by the nearby Church of the Agony, with its beautiful mosaic mural depicting the scene. Inside, the murals around the walls capture other moments of that historic night, shown under a star-studded deep blue sky. It was too late. The final act of this great and holy drama was already in motion. Judas Iscariot appeared with a contingent of guards, and the fateful kiss, the sign of betrayal, was given. After a short scuffle, to which Jesus immediately put a stop, the authorities arrested Jesus and placed him in prison, here in the vaults beneath the house of the high priest Caiaphas.
A church stands over the dungeon now, but the steps of an ancient path remain in the courtyard. In that time, this was the way to Mount Zion from Gethsemane, and it is clear that Jesus too was brought along this path for trial before Caiaphas. Held overnight, Jesus was questioned, and the high priest asked,
"Art thou the Christ, the Son of God?" And the Lord replied, "I am." And Caiaphas rent his garments and said, "What need have we for further witness? What think ye?" And they said, "Let him be put to death."
Meanwhile, according to Mark's Gospel, Peter was sitting outside in the courtyard when a serving maid accosted him and said, "You were there too with Jesus the Galilean." Peter denied it in the face of them all. "I do not know what you mean," he said. Twice more, here on Mount Zion, Peter denied that he knew Jesus, and at the third denial, the cock crowed. Then Peter remembered Jesus' words, and he went outside and wept bitterly.
Friday morning. In time, they would come to call this day